Hi, Alok. Thanks again for giving us this time here this afternoon. I know that you just came back last week from the QBR, QPR over in Manhattan. Can you explain to us what the QBR, QPR actually is?
Thanks, Vince, for asking. I look forward to really interviewing every time you really bring this camera, and thank you, the cameraman, also helping out every time. uh, for those who don't know what QBR and QPR is, it's a quarterly business review and quarterly product review. So this is basically Mike Madden and his leadership team that meets every quarter, and we look at the overall business. How is business doing from a sales perspective? We look at it where the technologies are going from a competition perspective, and then each of the business line that we have provide update on their strategy as well operationally how they are doing. So QBR, QPR, in some sense, it's basically how we are doing as a business and where do we take our business from there. That's the strategic, that's a leadership forum.
Perfect, perfect. So how is business?
So guys, we just completed Q1, fiscal year 15, and we really had a good Q1. And I'm sure Mike Madden in his all hands, he also covered it. From a revenue perspective, we achieved the goal that we had set up. And just so you know, I mean, mainframe as a business unit, we have been on the declining path. So for us to be able to achieve the goal is a great goal. And there are certain business lines we have started to see the PNCV, which is our new license, we are starting to see some growth, and which is a good news. But overall, from a revenue perspective, we achieved our Q1 revenue goal, which is very good. Our renewals are still very high. You know, we are getting into 92-93% of renewal, which is very strong, and that's our bulk of our revenue. So good to see where we are at. Now, having said that, guys, our aspiration is much higher. So just being flat or achieving the goal is not where our aspiration is. Our aspiration is to get to the growth, and that's where a lot of our strategies and work is where we are focused on. So it's a journey. I mean, we are a couple of last 12 months or so in this one. You will be seeing far more investment from a growth perspective the way we are looking at it.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. So how did Mainframe South fare out in this situation?
Right. So Mainframe South, there are three key business lines that we have here. One is the workload, which is the bulk of the organization in Mainframe South. Among all the business lines, guys, it has started to show its potential of growth. And in the last 8-9 months, we have made a lot of strategic organizational changes. Some of them were very difficult decisions. We also moved the investment in a couple of areas, and we are starting to show the real good growth in that. For example, iDash had its first over $1 million quarter. It never have achieved $1 million ever before. And it's really on a great growth path. We doubled down there on the investment. We are seeing the same thing around agents in the workload space, showing a lot of good growth. That's why we are investing in SAP agents, Hadoop agent. So good, starting to see how workload is starting to grow and how the strategy that we put in place is starting to pan out. On the storage side, a good strategy presentation that was presented. The R&D team, product management team has been working on defining the cross-enterprise storage strategy, and it's certainly starting to get understood what that means. But from the product perspective, how Vantage is doing and how other products are doing is well received. So far, it's been on its existing direction. We really want the strategy to be put in place that start to grow. From the data and analytics perspective, we presented the whole big data strategy and where things are. And by the way, big data is a big growth area. It will be showcased a whole lot in CA World, and we are expecting that big data strategy and how the data can also play in is something that we have to explore. But from that business line perspective, big data is starting to really show its potential. We have to execute though, and it's really setting up the stage that how it can really grow our addressable marketplace. So a lot of good things happening across all three of the business lines. I know that Gen don't directly roll under me now, but even from an app dev space perspective, huge perspective in terms of DevOps and what the potential of Gen is in that whole ecosystem. So there's a lot of good discussions happening, and as well as execution happening within the Gen team to really solve for the end-to-end app dev space that can fit into the DevOps. So a lot of good strategy discussions that we have been having now for a couple of quarters. Now you can start to see some execution start to happen. And at CA World, there will be a lot of demos and a lot of proof points that will be presented around this strategy.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely looking forward for CA World. Well, thank you very much, Alok. Appreciate for giving us this time here this afternoon.
Thank you.